Hey guys, and welcome back to another Simply Dark episode. In today's video we are going back to true crime and we are going to be talking about the murder case of Tim McLean. One of the most horrifying cases I have ever come across, not only for being obviously a murder, but also for being a gruesome case of mutilation and cannibalism like I've never seen before. Tim McLean was born on the 3rd of October 1985. He was an outdoors sports lover and a beloved son who loved traveling and meeting new people. At the time, he worked as a carnival employee and was returning home for a well-deserved break on July 30th, 2008. He boarded a Greyhound bus traveling from British Columbia to Winnipeg. This is a small town in Canada. I don't actually know how to pronounce it, but I'm just gonna pronounce it Winnipeg. And inside the bus, he sat on the last road next to the toilet door. At around 6 p.m., Vince Lee, a 44-year-old Asian man, entered the bus and sat near the front of the bus. Lee had immigrated to Winnipeg, Canada from China in 2001, and although he studied computer science in China, he struggled to find steady work in Canada. At the next rest stop, Lee briefly disembarks to smoke a cigarette and after a few moments comes back. But this time he seems dissatisfied with his original seat, so instead he decides to sit next to Tim McLean at the end of the bus. Tim looks at him, gives him a little smile, and then just leans toward the bus window, relaxes while listening to music, and actually falls asleep. A few moments after Tim falls asleep, everything changes. No one could imagine the terrifying scene that was about to happen. Lee takes a large knife from his bag and out of nowhere starts stabbing Tim on his neck, shoulders and chest. The Legend of Zorro movie was playing in the background and suddenly loses all its volume because all that can be heard throughout the bus is Tim's and the other passenger screams as they realize what is actually happening right in front of their eyes. At this point, the bus driver stops the bus and tells all the passengers to leave so they can be safe. He then proceeds to alert the authorities. Now, Lee, not even realizing what is going on around him, and with Tim's body lying down in the middle of the bus corridor, he keeps stabbing Tim's lifeless body over and over and over as the horrified crowd of people watches from the outside. But this is not all. Once all the stabbing is done, Lee proceeds to cut Tim's body in pieces, starting with the head that he very proudly brought to the door of the bus on his hand and showed everyone outside. By this point, police were already there, but nothing was done by them to arrest the 44-year-old. They could not negotiate with him, and all they could do was wait outside the bus. Lee kept mutilating Tim's lifeless body for 4 hours. Not only mutilating, but also eating some of the pieces of Tim's body. And all everyone could do was watch as this disturbing scene unfolded. Lee gets finally caught when he tries to run away by jumping one of the bus windows, and the police was finally able to get their hands on him and arrest him. Now, here's the part where this case gets even more controversial. Lee was suffering with undiagnosed schizophrenia and said that a voice told him to kill Tim, otherwise he would be the one ending up dead. The voice also said to him that stabbing Tim wouldn't be enough to kill him. He had to stab him, cut his body into pieces, and actually eat the pieces, otherwise Tim would come back to life and kill him and everyone in the bus. So police understood very quickly from Lee's report that it wasn't in his right mind. Something was actually wrong with him. And although many argue that Lee was obviously responsible for what happened on that dreadful afternoon, Canadian laws lack a lot when it comes to mental illnesses, and those who represented Lee stated that he could not be accountable for what he did due to his untreated schizophrenia. The judge agreed with this, and as a result, Lee was committed to a high security psychiatric ward for 1 year, so he could be evaluated and treated according to his condition. Which, to be honest, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with this sentence. Lee was sick, he needed help, they helped him. But what blows everyone's minds is what happens next. Because Lee was a cooperative patient during his stay at Selkirk Mental Health Center in Manitoba, he eventually gained more and more freedom, even going outside and having visitors. And in the end, Lee changed his name to Will Baker and was granted full freedom. He has been living on his own in a Winnipeg apartment since 2016, but even though the court decided that it does not pose a significant threat to the safety of the public, there are many in the community who cannot seem to dismiss the horrendous nature of his actions. Lee is on a waiting list for a secondary training program and wants to build his own career in the area. The health professionals involved all seem to be sure that he understands his condition and that he understands what he have done wrong and that he only wishes to live a moral and responsible life. But what a lot of people are concerned is that if someday he were to forget his medicine, or he decides to lie to the doctors, or even if he decides to move away, there's no telling of what could happen. Lee, or Will Baker as he is called now, is a free man with no obligations or restrictions on his ability to live an autonomous, independent life. So in other words, he's basically living exactly like me and you, without any restrictions of any kind. So what do you guys think about this? Like I said before, this is a very, very controversial case. I didn't know about it until recently. I don't know how I didn't know about this. But people are really divided on this case. A lot of people says that he deserves a second chance, that it wasn't actually he that did this, like he was sick. We can't condemn people that are sick, that don't know what they are doing, and they should be allowed a second opportunity in life if they are doing everything that they are supposed to do. But then in the other hand, a lot of people say that that's okay, but there should be still some kind of measures taken to make sure he will not forget his medication, to make sure he's kept on track. Because independently of is better now or not, one person is still dead. One family is still grieving the horrific murder of their child. So it should at least be kept in the record so professionals make sure it will not get to that point again. So to be honest, guys, I don't really know where I stand. This is a very, very hard case because I understand both parts, but I also have to say that I understand both parts because it didn't actually happen to me. Because if something this horrible happened to one of my children, I would want justice. I don't think I would care if that person was sick or not. You just see things differently when you are in different positions. That's just what I want to say. So let me know what you guys think. I'm really interested to know your opinions on this case, so please leave them in the comments down below and I will for sure read them all and reply to as much as I can. This is it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this Simply Dark episode. If yes, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps my episodes to get out there and for more people to see it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and join the family if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys and I will see you in my next episode.